up? Welcome to another episode of Just Give Us a Minute. I'm your
Yeah.
boy Smitty.
I'm L, and like we always say, just give us a minute of time to put something on your mind.
Y'all already know what it is. It's Super Bowl weekend. Kansas
Super
City
Bowl
Chiefs,
weekend.
you know what I mean, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we had to
Yeah.
run it back with the host of ESPN Kansas City 810, the Ship Darren Smith. What's up, Darren? Live from Tampa Bay. What's up, man?
What's going on, fam, man? You know me, just here trying to represent and do what we do best, man, and that's win Lombardis. You know, hey, we won one last year. Why not come back and do it again?
That's what's up, man. How's your experience been down there this year, man? I know it's probably a lot different than last year with the pandemic and everything. What's your experience been like this week? Talk to us.
Be quite honest, man. It's been different. Obviously, I was talking with a colleague of mine, Kendra Douglas, on the show earlier today, and you know the fact that we're covering a Super Bowl in the middle of a pandemic is is something within itself. It's historic within itself. This week, Radio Row has truly been like a ghost town. I would say. It's Friday, and literally Friday is shoulder to shoulder, where it's just people any and everywhere that you just get over to come and sit down and interview. Nah, man, it wasn't like that at all this week. It was slow. I mean, we probably may have had less than 10 people like come in and try to sit down and speak with us, and that's for the whole week. Everything else has been a lot of virtual stuff, whether it's the press conferences or interviews. It's all been just virtual or over the phone.
Now, I see you did an interview the other day with Barry Sanders, man. That had to be exciting, man. How was that for you, interviewing one of the best running backs of all time?
Well, it's interesting because I've met him before, where we've taken a picture together, but that was the first time I literally got a chance to actually, got a chance to interview him, and so that was it was a special thing. I got an email from the NFL for Rocket Mortgage, and that's who Barry Sanders, without sponsoring and talking about. So, all I did was respond to the email right away, say, hey, I'd love to try to do an interview with him, and they hit me back, and we squared some things away, and they were like, well, he's got 10 minutes. He hit me up with I think early, so I ended up having 12 minutes with him, and we jumped right into it, man, and I thought it was pretty good.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So I just saw here they had a breaking story with Andy Reid's son. You got any more information on that or what may have happened?
No, I've read the same thing you did. I read it off of Channel 41's page where they talked about he had some drinks prior to. He said he had 2 to 3 drinks. We're not exactly sure exactly how many drinks he technically might have had from where he came from. He may have been coming from Arrowhead, but I don't want to put that out there specifically because I'm not sure. But the fact that I think someone else may have been with him. But the fact that he got into the accident, there are 2 kids that were involved in the accident. One I think is a 5-year-old fighting for their life, and then of course you also have a 4-year-old as well that suffers from non-fatal injury. So obviously, my thoughts and prayers are with the kids. And look, obviously, I'm hoping that Andy Reid's son Britt is okay. I believe that he is, but. It's obviously not a good time if you're the Kansas City Chiefs dealing with this, especially Andy Reid, because it's your son. But also, I mean, really drinking and then you're going to drive. It just,
So, do you think that's going to have an impact on the team's mindset going into Sunday? Andy Reid, obviously, being the head coach, this is his son, and dealing with this incident, you feel like his head is going to be in the game come Sunday?
Oh yeah. The one thing I give Andy Reid credit about is that he knows how to compartmentalize. I mean, there's nothing that he can do as it relates to what took place. Whether or not they allow his son to travel, that might be a different thing. I mean, they could just leave him behind and just allow other coaches or whatever to pretty much coaches people up. But if I'm in Reed, I don't bring him. I think it would be a bad look. But it's just another storyline that goes into Sunday's game. But I think the players more so rally around Andy Reid than more so Britt Reid.
Okay. Yeah, that was tough, man. I'm sitting here when we were getting ready for the show and saw that happen, man. So, you never want to see that happen with anybody, especially when it's kids involved. So definitely prayers going out to all of the families involved with that. Now you got a chance to interview Tom Brady this week, right?
No, actually, well, I got a chance to ask him a question, but when I tried to turn my mic on, I'm thinking I'm talking to him, and he's saying that he couldn't hear me. So I actually did not get a chance to ask Tom Brady a question when they called him. That was kind of messed up. But I did get a chance to ask the Commissioner Roger Goodell and the NFL player executive DeMaurice Smith questions.
And what were some of the questions that you were able to pose?
Well, basically, it both dealt with minority hiring for African American coaches. When it came to the commissioner, I was asking him whether or not he thought that, or he would be able to talk to the owners about perhaps pushing the hiring process for coaches. Especially most of them, when they fire coaches at the end of the season, to wait till after the playoffs is completed to do the interview and the hiring process. So that way you don't penalize coaches like Eric Bieniemy, who, if he doesn't get an interview during the bye week, he cannot accept the job as long as the team is continuing winning. So, look, 2 years in a row, here he is in the Super Bowl, and he can't get a job, or he can't even accept the job, or pretty much even do a second interview just because of the timetable, the clock, and stuff like that. So the commissioner, he did address it. He did say that that is something that he has talked to the owners about, and that may be something that they look back into, in the offseason.
So, yeah, because I know that was a big deal this week. I mean, barbershop talk, ESPN talk, a lot of conversation was around the fact that, you have this successful coach here that's constantly interviewing for these head coach position, and he's not able to get them. You got the race card, being thrown out there as a sign of concern. You get people saying lack of experience, although he has these two he has these back-to-back Super Bowl runs under his belt. Essentially, you could say 3 going to the AFC Championship, a couple years back as well. What are your thoughts on that? I know that's been a hot topic on ESPN.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I keep thinking that somehow, some way, they keep moving the goalposts for someone like Airbnb. I had USA Today NFL columnist Jared Bill on my show today, and he's also a Hall of Fame voter. And one of the things that he mentioned is that he feels like owners are still holding whatever happened with Eric Bieniemy back at the University of Colorado, which was a couple of decades ago. He feels like they're still holding that against him. I mean, especially, it's hard to say that he doesn't interview well when, if you've been on the Chiefs pressers or you see videos or clips of Eric Bieniemy coming from the Chiefs press conferences, he gives pretty good answers. And then you compare that to what you saw in Detroit with the new coach being brought on, talking about biting off people's kneecaps. I mean, there's a huge discrepancy in what a black coach could do or say versus what a white coach could do or say.
Yeah, what you think about that, El? You feel like the race car is being played on that? Or how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I mean, we can always put the race card on something. You know what I mean? Maybe it's something that we don't know. But my thing is like this: when I think of black coaches, and we know that the NFL is majority African American, like I would think you would need more black coaches just so people can, have a common ground. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll know that your player struggles better. You know what I'm saying? So for us to still be in this position, that's a whole nother show. But we just still continue to be in a position of powerlessness and dependent upon people hiring us. So it is what it is, man. Hopefully he'll get a head coaching job, but I like what he said. He said, I'm just going to keep chopping wood, which means he's just going to keep working at what he's doing. So, for real, with them not hiring him, it's beneficial to us because he's beneficial to us. You know what I'm saying? But just as, want to see a man upgrade his success, you want to see him become a head coach and see how he does it,
Yeah.
Well, and think of it like this too, fellas, is that, the coaches that are getting hired, if you look at it like this coach in Detroit and the coach that ended up with the Jets, if you take a look at their resumes is not even, it doesn't even begin to compare to what Eric Bieniemy or Robert Saleh. I'm sorry, not New York.
Houston.
It wasn't a New York. No, Houston. No,
Houston.
not even. Well, Houston too, but he was a brother. No, I guess I don't know. It was another coach that got hired right before. Right, it was right before the Houston coach, but after the Detroit coach. But anyway, all that being said, if you just look at their resumes, their resumes do not compare to Eric Bieniemy, where, like you said, he's got 2 Super Bowl appearances with the Super Bowl title. But these coaches that you're hiring, they don't have that type of resume. So one, most of them have never been coordinators, and 2, there's no guarantee that they're going to be leaders of men. And the coach that you mentioned down in Houston, they put him in a precarious situation because they hired a black man to be the head coach who's 65 years old. He's not going to have no 5-10 year plan to turn their franchise around. Plus, he's going to be without a franchise quarterback because Deshaun Watson doesn't want to stay there any longer. So,
yeah.
So let me say this. Honey's watching, and she said Eric Bieniemy has become the poster child for the NFL's racist hiring practices, and the commissioner has no credibility. What do you think to that, D?
I mean, she's got a point. I mean, well, let me say this. I know the owner, I know the commissioner would like to see a higher amount of African American hire. I mean, because he's the one out there fighting the bosses, fighting the people who sign his check. The flip side is that at the end of the day, you can't tell a billionaire who to hire. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do, and so that's it doesn't matter the type of incentive that you put out there, draft picks or not. They're going to hire who they want to hire, regardless of how we feel.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to understand that a lot of these owners are old white men, right? I mean, and that's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? But just like I was saying a minute ago, common sense would say a black coach will be more relatable for your black players. Will be able to understand the ups and downs of being a black man and things of that nature much better than a white coach. And that doesn't mean that they'll be more successful, but you may have more success in the locker room with that relatability. I don't know. And then he's coming from Andy Reid's coaching tree, right? That in itself should be enough on your resume. You've gone to 3 straight AFC championships. His resume speaks for itself. So it's either, like you said, they hold him against you, or they just don't want to see him prosper. Period.
Well, like you said, that's a show. We could do a whole nother show on that. So so let me ask you this, D. What are your predictions on the game? Not so much as the prediction in the sense of score, but I'm hearing a lot of chatter that a lot of people think Tampa Bay's gonna smack the Chiefs, man. What you think about that, man?
Hey man, I had 3 people on my show today, throughout the day, literally picked the Buccaneers, which and like I said, the girl who I had earlier, who's from the Kansas City area, she covered the Chiefs the last 2 years, and now covers the Bucs being down there, even though she's in Atlanta. She's going with the Bucs, and I'm just looking like you've been assimilated, where people really don't want to bet against Tom Brady. They don't want to go against Tom Brady.
I used to be one of those people, man. I told you, I said I normally wouldn't bet against Brady, but it's Mahomes. So until Mahomes, it's gonna be a tough game.
That's fair, because look, I've told people all the time that I'm a big Brady fan. I like it because I like winners, and so I don't have had the Chiefs somehow got knocked off by Cleveland and they came between Cleveland and Buffalo, of course I was going to go with Tom Brady all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. But because it's Patrick Mahomes and being up close and covering his team the last 3 years since he's been the starter, I just know the group and the character of these men. They they don't want to admit it, but they were bored a lot this season, and because of that, I mean, it's one of those things where they, they finally got back here, and I think because of the moment, and now that they're finally here, or that they're getting ready to come here on Saturday, I think they're ready to finally get this game started, get it over with, so they can, come up with a new mantra for next year.
So
repeat.
Do you think that could work against them being too confident?
No. No, it's not a matter of being confident. It's just a matter of everybody's gunning for you, and you have to play your best. But it's hard to play at a high level every single week because you're getting the team's best. You got to remember, they barely beat the Carolina Panthers 33-31. I mean, with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, none of us thought they were 10-point favorites. And the Chiefs, I thought that they would easily cover that spread, and they didn't. So, I mean, teams aren't going to lay down for you just because, you're defending Super Bowl champion. They measure themselves up against you. And so, but they were still able, to get it done. They were 14-2 on the season. They probably should have been undefeated. Obviously, the Raiders got the better of them in the first game, and then the first time they met, and then the final game of the season didn't matter whether they won or lost. So,
I don't want to say overconfident, like they're being cocky and nothing like that. I haven't gotten that vibe from the Chiefs all year, but when you think about kind of the fact that they could have, we realistically thought the Chiefs could have had a perfect season. Right, and then we saw games where the Chiefs, it felt like they were taking plays off. Now we know towards the end of the season they kind of struggled with some injuries. Watkins, Bell, key players like that. Now you don't have Eric Fisher playing in the game on Sunday. So what do you think those impacts are going to have? With them not having their starting people in there.
Well, as it relates to Eric Fisher, it does hurt, but the fact that you lost him in the AFC Championship game versus in the middle of the Super Bowl, I think is not as damaging as it could have been. Here's the thing: people always talk about Andy Reid's record after a bye week. Well, you get 2 weeks, or you get basically a bye week after the AFC Championship game. So Andy Reid is 19-5. If people want to tout that, then I got to lean on that. I got to say, hey, he's 19-5 for a reason. They had all last week. They had all this week to plug, whoever they're going to put in place and to run and design plays. So I think in that regard, I think Chiefs fans will be able to be calm about it. Now, it's one thing to put it in the playbook. It's another to go out and execute. And to that extent, the one thing that Eric Bieniemy always preaches about in the presses is that they coach their backups to be starters. So whether you're second string or third string, if you're out there, Chiefs fans aren't going to pay attention to that. They just going, they just want to know, is Patrick Mahomes getting sacked, or are you defending them and keeping them from getting hit by the defenders? The other thing I do want to point out is that as much as I hate it, Patrick Mahomes is not beholden to sitting in the backfield, sitting behind in the pocket. He is someone that makes the plays with his legs running outside the pocket, both left and right side. So if he goes out the pocket, if Patrick, takes a snap, and I can assure you, probably not going to be under center. He's probably going to be shotgun most of the game. But if he's taking a snap and he runs left or right outside the pocket, I can assure you that the defender is going to have to make that decision. Am I going to come up after Patrick? And if I come up, that means I got to leave my man behind. Patrick can just toss it right over that person, get it to the receiver, or do we stay with our man and Patrick runs for the first down or dumps it off to the running back in the flat? So either way, against the pressure, Patrick is pretty much unstoppable, and against the blitz, Patrick is like, he has a 97 QBR rating, so he's damn near unstoppable.
So on that point, we got another comment here that says, as long as our defense plays its best, Brady doesn't stand a chance. When he gets hit, it throws him off. What do you think about? You agree with that? That when he gets hit, he gets kind of nervous.
Well,
I won't say nervous, but it throws his game off.
No, you're fine. The key with Brady is he has to be under pressure. this is my key, and this is what I said against Josh Allen a couple weeks ago. If you're not hearing Chris Jones or Frank Clark's name being called in the first half, whether it's just getting pressure, getting a cheap shot, or just knocking Tom Brady, getting to Tom Brady, that's the problem. That means Brady is clean. It means the line is defending him. That means the Chiefs' pressure is not getting to Tom Brady. That's an important element that Kansas City has to make sure that they can do against Tom Brady. The flip side of that is that the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs is Steve Spagnuolo. He has been one that has always been able to put a good defense in place against Tom Brady. He was the one that architected that New York Giants defense that beat the undefeated New England Patriots and made them go 18-1. He knows that the key to beating Tom Brady is he has to be under pressure. Tom Brady does not like pressure. If you can pressure Tom Brady, force him in force him in a place that he's not comfortable doing, and force him out of the pocket, then you have a chance because he's not going to run on you. So he's not Patrick. Right. Patrick can thrive on the pressure because he can be elusive and avoid the sack. Brady's not like that. If you get to him, Brady's going to fold and fall to the ground.
I'm gonna jump in and say this, and this is my opinion. I'm kind of with Honey on this. I could see us really like digging off in them for real. I could see, to be honest, everybody keep talking this close game stuff. I feel you. I mean, of course, for the Super Bowl, you want a close game, but in my opinion, I think we can run. If we get started early, like we've been doing through the playoffs, we can really knock these boys on off, and that's just my opinion. What you think?
I mean, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think you're looking more so at a Philadelphia Eagle, New England Patriot type game where it was like 41-33. That's what I think happened. But look, the Bucs have showed during this 7-game win streak that they can put points on the board. They scored over 40 twice within these 7 games. The Chiefs, we know that they can put up points if they just do their job. The question is, are they going to do their job? But if that's the case, again, I can see a scenario basically where Kansas City gets up, and if Kansas City gets the lead, and then they can go, and then they can do a 3 and out on this team, on the Bucs team, like they did in the first game where the Bucs had 4 and outs, 4-3. I'm sorry, they had 4 3 and outs. And so by that time, the Chiefs were already up 17-0. It should have been up 28-0, but they were still up regardless. And so the whole time, the rest of the game, Tampa Bay is fighting, trying to get back in the ballgame. So they're expending energy, time, and rushing, trying to get back into the lead or trying to get back into the ballgame. Where the Chiefs were pretty much just playing prevent defense and trying to maintain a lead and sustain the win. Now, again, in this Sunday's game, I don't see that happening. I think once the Chiefs get up, I think this time, kind of like Buffalo, I think once they get up, they're going to keep, rolling and trying to score.
See, that's my problem sometimes with the Chiefs. It seems like they don't like my
most season.
It seems like they don't like to just keep their foot on the gas, just keep their foot on people's neck.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Like,
well, you sound like me because that's what I've been complaining about all season. However, this is the Super Bowl. They know that the finality of it, and so because of that again, because of that, I can see a scenario where again they they understand the moment. Look, Patrick also. This is my belief. I believe Patrick also feels like he needs to have a big game to kind of make up for what took place last year. It's not often you get a second chance to make a first impression, and that's what I think he's going to be able to do Sunday. I think Patrick Patrick has a game like he had, I guess I would say, his first full year starting where he comes out and throws 5 or 6 touchdowns. I can see Patrick having that type of ball game.
So on the flip, let's say the Chiefs find themselves down. Do you think they'll be able to, grab that lead back, keep themselves in the game? Obviously we don't want to see a repeat of last year in the sense of them working their way back to winning the Super Bowl versus, like El said, getting up, putting their foot on their neck and just keep it going. On the off chance they find themselves down, do you still have that confidence that they'll do what they normally do and, bring it home?
Yeah, because, the one thing I know about Andy and this team is they are a one play, one drive, one series at a time. And so, perhaps, just look. I was at the SEC championship game and McCall Hardman muffed that punt, and I'm like, come on, dude, seriously? And of course,
right.
they went down the
We
score.
are at that thought.
So they went down the score. It was 9-0. But, but the Chiefs, he went to the sideline, they cheered him up. And what happened? They went right back to him, and he was the first person in the end zone for the Chiefs to get on the board. So, and the thing is, people think that one of the key, and again, it's a double-edged sword. You can run the football and try to control the clock, like the Carolina Panthers did against the Chiefs. They held the ball for almost 40 minutes. Kansas City still outscored them 33-31. So, so Kansas City has the type of offense where they can quickly strike and get in the end zone and turn the game around just like that. So, I can see them if they're down to come back come back to the ballgame, but I don't see them being down like 24-0. If they're down 24-0, they're losing the game this time.
My thing about the Chiefs that one of my favorite things about them is they never think they out of the game. So they don't put their head down if they're trailing. They just focus in. See, that's the focus I need from Jump though. Go ahead and jump on them. Go ahead and jump on them and let's get this over. Let's get back to the crib so we can celebrate. But they never feel like they out of the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love about it.
1,000%.
And I loved how Patrick did go over there and, after he, fumbled that punt and was like, come on, man, like, it's cool. That encouragement, that team, man, that dynamic that they have and that almost like family-like atmosphere that Andy's created since he's been with the Chiefs, I think is dope. Let me ask you this. So who's the X Factor Sunday?
Steve Spagnuolo, like I said. Defensively, you're going to have to put pressure, and where's the pressure going to come from? You got to remember, when a team wins, they may feel like they don't have to make any real improvements. They just feel like, okay, we'll just do what we did last time around. It's the losing team that has to make the improvements because there's a reason why they lost. Obviously, you're not going to see Todd Bowles' defense go single coverage against Tyreek Hill again. Again, I can't, for the life of me, understand why they did that to begin with. Like, dude's the fastest dude in the league. But to that point, look, I can see, I think Steve Spagnuolo thrives on this. And thrives on this, and Andy Reid and company, man, like, they spent a lot of hours watching tape, watching film. They're geek for this, man. They have literally spent the last 12 months hoping to get back to this point, and I just cannot. I can't even in my wildest dreams that back in March and April, I picked these two teams to compete. I said it. I said it on my show. I said it when they got Tom Brady. I posted it. And I keep my receipts. There was just no way that that these two teams, to me, were not going to meet. So I'm not surprised that they're in the Super Bowl. I'm not going to be surprised when Kansas City wins. Now, if it goes down to the wire, hey, we'll see what kind of defense Steve Spagnuolo is able to draw up and design. But at the end of the day, I'm all. I think Steve Spagnuolo is going to be the X factor with a second runner-up to the offensive line coach. Obviously, you're going to have to figure out. You're going to have to make sure that Patrick Mahomes doesn't get hit or doesn't get sacked a whole lot. By the defensive line, because what you don't want them to do, you don't want them to be able to get pressure with Patrick with 3 or 4 players and then drop 8 players. 8 players in coverage because now Patrick's not gonna be able to, throw it to anyone. So We'll see what happens.
That's smart, man. That's smart. Yeah, man. I'm excited, man.
Hey, man, let me jump in real quick. I'm gonna tell you like this. Brady better play that. He better be first half, Brady.
Right.
If you play with us and you give us all those turnovers, we gonna tear your ass up.
Well, and that's what I say. If Brady think he gonna throw 3 turnovers against the Chiefs and think he gonna come back, or he thinks that the Chiefs aren't gonna be able to make him pay, he's got another thing coming. So yeah, he better not. Well, actually, he better. I hope he does throw 3 interceptions. That helps my case out.
Right, I ain't mad.
I need 5 touchdowns. So yeah,
and I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of them. I don't really care about the Patriots, but I love Tom Brady. I'm with you. I like winners, man. I don't know why people be hating on him, but
at the end of the day, what I liked about Tom Brady, man, people could say what he want, but what they want about him. But one thing that I always would point out in the argument to people was Tom Brady created his weapons. Right, he didn't have like those big name people. Like, let's say, Cowboys fans, Tony Romo at one point had Terrell Owens. Right, he never really had that part. He had to create a lot of his players. Wes Welker, Adam, Gronk. These people, they didn't come out of college and like, oh, this guy's going to be the number one guy. He had so many people at one point. Aaron Hernandez, he had all these different people that once upon a time. He created them. He made these people stars. He didn't have the same people, even like the Chiefs. We got Tyreek Hill, we got Kelsey. We have a Sammy Watkins. We have these people that have kind of grown together. Tom Brady would always have these different weapons, so I just always gave him his props. Man. I think the dude is dope, man. I really do, man. And I want to see him go down Sunday. I love my city. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I love my city, so I'm definitely rocking with the Chiefs. But
I'm gonna tell you like this, yeah, he dope. So we gonna step on him and keep him out this week. You know what I'm saying? And then I can get back to liking him after we go ahead and put that WAP on.
Yeah. I want to see. I can't see him going to the Hall of Fame, but
Yeah. After we put that WAP on him, then I'll go back. Say, hey, he's still a cold cat. But right now, it's Mahomes' time. It's the Chiefs' time, and I think if I'm with Honey, like she said, if that defense can roam, if Matthew and all them boys can do their thing in that secondary and kind of cut that middle of the field off, he's gonna have a long Sunday.
I think what's going to be key is both teams settling down after maybe the first 5-10 minutes in the first quarter. Get all the pregame jitters or the hype or whatever out the way, and once they get to hitting, now you're just going back to football. Now it becomes a matter of X's and O's, and then it's going to be key after halftime, because halftime is going to be about 40 minutes. So it's going to be key. How do you respond in the second half? Because your body is going to adjust differently from a regular game, a regular playoff game, to now Super Bowl, where you got damn near 40 minutes between halves or whatever. So that's also going to be key. How do they respond coming out of the second half? And this is on both teams.
Hey, Andy should line all the starters up and smack the shit out of them before the game, just to get everybody calmed down, and then let's go ahead and put some work in. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm with you on Mahomes needs a hell of a Super Bowl performance. Mm-hmm. He needs a hell of a Super Bowl performance to wipe that out last year. Because even though he won having to come from behind in every playoff game, that's trash for real. We don't need that. We need to go ahead, stick his foot in this, and take it from the gate.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Again, when you have people who keep talking about, people like Skip Bayless talking about how Damian Williams should have been the MVP versus Patrick Mahomes. Again, I think this is one of the few times you get a second chance to make a first impression. I think if he comes out, throws for 400 plus yards, throws for 4, 5, 6 touchdowns in the game, and the Chiefs, Chiefs have, look. Even if they do a San Francisco, San Diego Chargers type thing where they have a 55-10, explosion, that would be great for Patrick. I mean, and it would literally be not even a passing of the torch, but a snatching. Like, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna run with it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, because I know a lot of people are calling Patrick the GOAT and stuff like that. I keep telling people, man, let his career play out. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen. What I will say is this. He wants to separate himself from even Tom Brady, win Sunday's game, and then come back and three-peat next year. Now you're in a whole different category of discussion because you've done something that nobody else in the Super Bowl era has ever done before. Joe Montana came close, but the New York Giants knocked him off in 1990.
Troy Aikman.
Back at three-peat. Huh?
I said, so did Troy Aikman.
Yeah, that's a fact. Don't do that.
He came close. Don't be disrespectful.
Don't put that in there. But what I will say is, I'm with you.
He had a gap year though.
Yeah,
that's what I said. He came close.
Tom Brady ain't passing nothing to nobody. Yeah. He ain't passing no torches. He don't want you to have a torch till he's gone. So I'm with you. You got to take that torch. You got to take that one.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm with you.
So I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, man. I know you've been covering all week and all day. You probably tired, man. So before you go, man, give us your prediction. Winner, score.
Well, first of all, I am dead tired, but because it's you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'd stay an extra half hour if need be. I've got the Chiefs winning 42-35. Basically, a lot of what I said before. Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a high school game. Plus, I got money on it, so I need them to kind of hit my stuff.
Let me jump in. You think they can shoot with us like that?
Yeah, I mean, they look in this 7-game win streak that they've done. They've been averaging over 30 points, and it's going to take 30. It's going to take 30 plus points to beat Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes has only lost one playoff game, and that playoff game that he lost. It was 37-31 with the Patriots in overtime, and that was because he never got the ball back to start the overtime period. Now the team won 22-17 in the game that he started against the Browns, and he was injured. But on average, again, it's going to take at least 30 points to beat Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes with this offense, with everybody healthy, it's hard. I mean, look, you're going to have literally a Bill Belichick, Wade Phillips type of Super Bowl where the teams don't see the end zone, and I just don't see it happening. No team has been able to crack the code as it relates to stopping Patrick Mahomes, and I don't see it happening this Sunday as well. So this Sunday, I see Patrick Mahomes and this offense. I think he gets 5 touchdowns in the air. Maybe he or someone gets the touchdown on the ground. But I think at the end of the day, the Chiefs win this. And I think Kansas City actually wins this game in a rout, but because the game is going to be so out of hand, Brady is going to bring the team back where the score might be closer than what it actually appears. And so, like the 27-24 game, people think, Bucs had a chance to win. They really never had a chance to win that game because the Chiefs would never. The lead was never in any serious doubt. I think the same thing happens in Sunday's game where the team will get up 7 points, 10 points, and what will end up happening is they'll get a 3-and-out on Tampa Bay. Chiefs get the ball back and go down and score. Now you're up 14, 17 points. Hey.
Well, it sounds like I need to be placing a bet for Sunday because you said 5 touchdowns. That sounds like a nice little chunk of change.
Hey, D, let me ask you a question, man. Before you go, let me ask you this. You said Steve Spagnuolo is going to be the X factor. Who's going to be the offensive X factor other than Mahomes? Who's going to turn up for Mahomes?
I'm not going to say he's going to turn up, but what I will say is that if Sammy Watkins is able to play Sunday, I think it's key because look, I still haven't quite figured out how or when or where, but the fact that when Sammy is on the field, Patrick and everybody's offensive numbers are actually better when he's on the field than when he's not on the field. So I would say if Sammy Watkins is able to play Sunday and he starts, I think that's going to be critical because who are you going to double? You're going to double Tyreek? Well, then you got Kelsey. You're going to double Kelsey. There's Tyreek. You try to double both. Sammy Watkins will have a big game, or the rookie running back. So, I mean, so there's just many ways that the Chiefs can beat you. Again, now, Tom Brady, he has weapons as well now. The question for me is going to be whether or not the stage is going to be too big or the lights are too bright for them. But that's why they play the game, and yeah, hey, I'm betting money on it. Hopefully my boys don't let me down this time around like they did in Vegas.
Well, hey, man, we appreciate your knowledge, man, taking the time out. Like I said, I know you're tired, man. I know you've been covering the game, game all week. You got a big weekend ahead of you. So definitely appreciate you, man. Be safe down there and looking forward to Sunday, man.
Me too. So I do want everybody, if they get a chance, Saturday back in Kansas City, I'll be doing a live 3-hour pregame show from 5 to 8 on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And then on Sunday, I'll do a live game day from Raymond James Stadium from 11 to 1 before our regular pregame show. So I'll be on the 810 for about 5 hours this weekend, getting people ready for Sunday's kickoff.
Hardest working man in sports, man.
Never forget that.
Hey, well, make sure you drop that information too, man. And like I said, we appreciate you, man. Go Chiefs.
Yes, sir.